Good morning, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to Wake Up with Customer Platform, your unofficial HubSpot morning show where we help you discover the platform you already own. I'm Chris Carolan, and we're here to make sure you're not sleeping on HubSpot's true capabilities. Let's wake up to what's happening in the HubSpot ecosystem. Uh, we're going to start each day now by diving deep into HubSpot's native objects, making sure that by the end of this year, there won't be anybody thinking that HubSpot is just for contacts, companies, and deals. It can do so much more. It can only do that when you know the kind of data that you can store, manage, maintain, create inside of the platform. And that is largely based on the objects and the data model that you're using. And there's 18, uh, uh, at least for me, that relate specifically to um, the customer journey that you would expect to see in like a record view. Um, but if I could just, this is why it's hard for me to create a structure as I'm preparing for this, and I'm definitely going to jump into it in a moment. But I see this first line of the updates, custom object properties in the new forms editor. I cannot wait to talk about that. I will have to wait 20 minutes so I can try to stick to this schedule or stick to this format. Um, and just let me know if this format works. At least starting on this page, you get a little screenshot uh, before we dive into other topics. Because a lot of this doesn't really matter if you're having trouble onboarding, adopting, getting value out of HubSpot. And so often it starts with not understanding the data model and your map and your processes. So I'm going to be a broken record this year on this front. Um, because it's crucial. Uh, Talk here about integrations every day that aren't working, and it's largely not the fault of HubSpot or the app. Um, if you can't, if you don't understand your process and how you need to capture data and what it's supposed to be doing for you, it's very hard to set up integrations appropriately, and we're seeing it get more challenging as we get into post sales. Because as an example, there's been a conversation happening around the QuickBooks integration. Did a great show with Joe Warren. I think it was back in October or August. I forget exactly when, where we went over the QuickBooks integration, the new one, and it's challenging because we rely on things like QuickBooks that have always been there to kind of decide what the data model is going to be because that's where the money is. And so then we try to bring it into HubSpot's data model, which is focused on the contact. It doesn't work out so well. Um, and if you can't wrap your mind around that, just from this perspective, when we're bringing post sales data in to HubSpot, it can be used like when you work with a HubSpot customer. They could be wanting to bring that in to support the entire customer journey, the various stages within the customer journey, the whole thing, right? So without any context, we see the integrations start to be set up, assuming that we want the data coming in to support marketing automation, because where the marketing, that's where the HubSpot DNA is, right? But so often it's for sales understanding. It's to help with invoice management and make sure that's getting communicated properly, which has nothing to do with lead generation, right? So if you don't understand the why behind that, um, which is very hard to understand if you have not moved beyond contacts, companies, and deals, right? You haven't moved into customer success. So I'm not thinking about the post sales journey at all as a customer or a consultant, coach, implementer, agency. You don't even know that that's what somebody could be bringing in for, right? We have people entering HubSpot now from the invoices, right? So that's why this is important to understand the data model. Uh, and it starts for me. It's always why HubSpot has had a special place in my heart, and I believe in the ecosystem itself is the contact object. So think of the contact object as the relationship manager of your CRM. Think about that. Customer relationship management. The contact object manages the relationship with the person. How many other CRMs, aka Salesforce, are not centered around the contact? They are centered around the company. So right off the get-go, that's what makes HubSpot different. The whole system is built around that. Right? The idea, maintaining a complete view of each person's history, preferences, and interactions while ensuring proper engagement across all touch points. Transforming individual interactions into structured profiles that enable personalized experiences throughout the customer journey. All these things you say that you want, but then you have so much trouble creating a unified view of the customer. Maybe this can help. So it's obviously, well, that's the thing. It's not obvious to most people. It's the heart of the CRM. And as soon as from the get go, sales and marketing activities start by looking at the company profiles, ICPs, and we just remove humanity immediately. We start thinking about leads, and you can't do that. Can't do that. Um, so, what is it actually doing? Uh, it helps convert anonymous explorers into individuals, into known individuals, known not by their demographics, but by their engagement behavior. Right? It enables personalized communication engagement. It's meant to support natural relationship development. And uh, if you're interested, like there's a language, there's a theme here that's based on this customer value path concept, this value first concept that I'm fleshing out. So a lot of the language I use is about natural flow of value, not so much convert, get them down the funnel, move them down the path that they don't go down. Like they just don't. Like that's not human behavior, right? So a different perspective here. Love feedback. As it like, does it ring true? Is it resonating with you? Where's the disconnect? We want to create accountability with these objects, right? With the contact record. So imagine a contact record where all these different teams can come in. There's different tabs. You can see different data, but you're one click away from the other team's data. Is it matching? Are we constantly confirming that we know what's going on with the customer, that the other person on the team is on the same page and asking uh, new questions or the same questions and getting the same answers? Um, we want to bridge awareness. What are we doing for them to create value, right? For them, not for us. Okay, a huge difference. And we got to keep it clean, right? It's very hard to keep it clean when you're doing it on other objects like the company record. Where does it come from? Content engagement, direct inquiries, event participation like webinars. Um, how does it grow? It grows through engagement. Profile enrichment, not just from external data sources, but from, again, we just talked about the post sales idea. What did they buy last time? Do we have it in our system? Is that Are we integrating post-sales data and bringing it in to enrich the profile instead of do some kind of marketing campaign and not touch our current customers, right? Enrich the profile from the data that you already have. Capture preferences, understand the relationship. Again, what value is being realized, whether it's at the beginning of the journey and they're just learning about the topic that you help with, or they just ordered the fifth time and they're loving it, and they're fully realizing the value. Everything in between, documenting their success. So we start with uh, recognizing, basic information, understanding initial patterns, early preferences, start to complete the profile, start to create a history, right? Understand their communication preferences. Early preferences, like, related to, job titles or how they relate to your ICP, maybe some demographics information start to give you some of that. But then how are they communicating? Like, where are they responding from? Are they responding to the email or are they responding on LinkedIn? Tracking that so that you can lean into the way they want to communicate with you, right? At, if we're active, say we're in the buying process, they're 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 sprinting down the path to find more value with you and your relationship. What do regular interactions look like? How are they engaging with the team? All right. This is a huge change in the ecosystem right now. Deals are no longer just one contact. Okay. You're dealing with a team of people generally. And if they're not associated to the deal, it's completely blind and you're having to ask questions on phone calls or emails or in person of the rest of your team to understand. And it's not an acceptable way to, like, it's an impossible way to create a unified view, because even when you rely on one person, the deal owner, to gather this information, this burden of having to talk to way too many people internally to upkeep the data, the expectation that the admin is somehow supposed to keep it clean on behalf of all the people interacting with the customers. Like, get out of here. It's ridiculous. What you miss when you do that is the successes, like qualitatively, quantitatively, because we're focused on filling in data in the CRM and making sure it's right. We're missing what happens in these conversations and these engagements. Uh, Going beyond that, how is the value being multiplied? Like, are they active in the community? Are they sharing the story of value? Right? All these things should be seen when we're talking about unified view. One thing I do want to note here, because it's going to be a focus this year, I probably need to get revenue in here somewhere. It just starts to people start to focus on that instead of understanding, like, of course, value um, equals revenue in a lot of cases for the internal business. And I'm trying not to focus on the internal value. We don't focus enough on external value. Relationships, honestly, obviously it's company and deal, but these activity records, like, not just activities as far as emails, meetings, things like that, but almost every other object type is capturing an activity of some sort, just at a deeper level, you know? Um, so products, subscriptions, invoices, deliverables, all these things um, add context, right, to the relationship. Some core properties. I won't list all of these. This should be familiar to you. But value flow data, like this is the value, right? And we spend so much time asking systems like Breeze Intelligence or Zoom Info or wherever to give us the this data, right? And some of this data, whatever we can get. Meanwhile, there is so much gold here just being missed. This is the value. Your reports are very rarely based on the data that you're getting from outside systems. Start getting this right. Start taking the time. Do it manually. Automate where you can. So much of this relates to how you position the life cycle, right? And again, I know I'm trying to move mountains here, but MQL, SQL, it doesn't work. It's built for internal processes for an external journey that a human being is taking that is very much not linear. And as soon as you get the feeling as a human that you're trying to be taken down this qualification path, and the person on the other side will not get away from their script because they got to answer this question to be able to qualify you. It's just broken. It does not work. And that's why everything is starting to work less. Humans need a connection, they need a relationship, they need a conversation. You can give them one when you understand what they're trying to accomplish at every step in the journey. Hopefully, this can help you do that. Audience, I'm learning. Researcher, I'm researching. Like, let's not get, we don't have to get cute. Maybe I get cute in some other spots, but what are they actually trying to do? The difference between audience and researcher, right? I am learning, like, hey, that's a cool topic. I've been curious about that, right? It might not relate to your product even, but now I know a little bit more. And I am getting value in that way, even though I'm not necessarily actively looking for it and I'm getting it from you, right? I'm researching now because I have a problem. I have an active problem that I'd really, really like to solve. After I do the research and I have maybe some internal discussions and I've got some budget, I'm buying now. I'm a hand raiser and I've made you aware of that through direct requests that tell you that. And now we're having conversations with the sales team. Um, Hero, highly empowered revenue opportunity. I'm considering options and I'm especially considering you. Right. The rest of the process, we built trust. You've given me value. Um, I'm ready to close. Honestly, I'm ready to close and I need your help to do that. I don't need to be convinced at this point. This part of the process convinced me that your product will work, your service will work, a relationship with you will be valuable. Help me close, right? Once we close, we've got to create value for the org, right? And this, I've had some revelations in the past month or so. Customer, s- so much bad behavior in HubSpot comes from just, okay, closed one. Everybody's a customer. We don't differentiate at all because that's the life cycle stage. Meanwhile, this could be handed off to somebody that says that was not involved in this part of the process. Are they a customer? Yeah, they don't trust you. They've never even seen you before, right? But now they've got to do something with the purchase. So testing out, I really like it though. It resonates with me. Like this person, whoever they are, wherever they are in the organization, they've got to create value. This happens at three levels: individual, management, and executive leadership, if you will. Once the value is created, they can say, like, oh, I realize the value. This was a good purchase. Right. So much so that I can't stop telling others in the organization the difference between advocate and champion for me is that it's naturally, and you can see this inside of orgs. It's like the fun thing about HubSpot is seeing this, right? When the person enjoys working with HubSpot so much internally, they're willing to help the next person adopt HubSpot a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. That's how you build adoption and value out of a system like HubSpot. Now, the difference is that for me, advocate is internal and, you know, um, versus champion is somebody that will take up that Salesforce versus HubSpot conversation on their own accord on LinkedIn. They'll get passionate about it, and because they're a raving fan, right? And you don't need to tell them twice to help you out. They're willingly give testimonials, to show up in public for you on your behalf because the value has been so good. If you're not tracking the journey like this, it's very hard to do a lot of what was talked about above as far as understanding a full unified picture of the customer that includes what value are they getting from us as an organization. So what does success look like? You got complete profiles. You've got natural engagement, both internally and externally. You understand the preferences and the value and how they're multiplying the value inside of their organizations and maybe externally. You can understand relationship depth. You easily see how knowledge is shared, how community is built, how they are continually aligned, or you notice immediately when it gets misaligned. What do we usually see? Right? A lack of profile completeness, yep. Lack of standardized fields, associations are messy if there's any association at all. It's hard to see what's happened historically. Integrations are tough, you know, especially with emails, marketing automation, event management, social network support systems. I mean, just go down the list. I've got to update this. Like quote to cash needs to be on here. Accounting systems, post sales, right? All this stuff is tough because none of these other systems are based around the human being. Again, this is what separates HubSpot for me from every other tool. And when we're talking about why we don't just let the other tools just take over, especially the post sales tools, is that so much of HubSpot's value is based on the data model that's built around this contact record. And when you digital twin HubSpot, for example, with an ERP, that means you're changing HubSpot's data model to support what the ERP is built around, which is not the human being. So naturally, that makes HubSpot work less effectively for you. So, does this need to be a different show altogether? Maybe. I don't know how. I'm going to put this into 10 minutes, which is what was suggested. But we'll go on to the next thing. I mean, contact will probably take the longest, anyways, because it's the most important. I'm going to skip the community post today so we can get into updates. Custom object properties in the new forms editor. Hallelujah. What is it? Custom object properties are now supported in the new forms editor. Why does it matter if your business requires a relationship or process beyond the standard CRM objects. Can we just like click on this for a second? All right. Speaking of the issue that we have, standard. This will be interesting to see. Custom objects. How deep does standard go? Anyway, if your business requires a relationship or process beyond the standard CRM objects, you can create a custom object. You can now add those custom objects to forms and collect them from visitors. How does it work? After creating or editing a form, you can add form fields, search for your custom object properties, and add them to your form. To add a custom object property to your form, you must set the property to show in forms. Note, you will need to make sure your primary display property is included on the form. Who gets it? Enterprise gets it because they have custom objects. This is awesome. New and updated apps in HubSpot's app marketplace. What is it this quarter? 76 plus apps recently joined HubSpot's app marketplace. Notably, Gecko Board for syncs, sales metrics, and custom properties. Zinfi PRM, which streamlines partner relationship management, and Ring Central Ring CX, which handles calls, chat, and related updates directly in HubSpot. Additionally, 202 apps were recently updated with new features and or listing revisions, including, I'm not going to list them all. If you're watching, you can see them on the screen. Good morning, Mohammed. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Why does it matter? HubSpot's app marketplace has 1,700 plus. I've been hearing this number for a while now, yet I keep seeing this number add up. So I'm wondering if it's time to update that. I guess there's a bit of attrition probably, so maybe that's still accurate, but I'm curious if we've eclipsed, how close we are to 2,000 at this point. On to the next one. Emails index page and product update was not found. If you're not aware of this update, you need to be. It's like a HubSpot inbox for all the emails being tracked in the system. You get to that by going to your index screen. Open this up. And now you can select emails from the list and see them just like you would any other object. Exciting times. The searchability works like you think it would too. It's huge. It's a big deal. Check it out when you can. Auto save properties on the index page, a private beta right now. High impact for sure. Auto saving is such an interesting topic. One of those places where sometimes you need a little more friction than you have. You want people to be mindful of clicking on the button that says save, but then you also get so frustrated when you do all the work and then you don't click save and you hit the back button because you want to see something else and then you got to redo it, right? The intent is that HubSpot now automatically saves property edits made on the CRM index page, right? So the index page we were just talking about works very much like Excel in terms of just being able to click in and edit. Now you just have to take care, and you see this little thing pop up on the bottom of this GIF, right? You have a chance to undo, Um, and note that, uh, you know, all changes were saved, right? I think this more than anything is one of the best updates here because there's a lot of places where it auto saves and it doesn't tell you, right? So at the very least, if it's going to autosave, we need to know that we need a notification is who gets it all hubs and additions. Great work, CRM team. Keep it up. App certification renewal. What is it? January 14th, yesterday, starting immediately. HubSpot is introducing a 2-year certification cycle. All certified apps are required to renew on a rolling basis every 2 years via fixed renewal and expiration date. Failure to recertify will result in the removal of your app certified status. Why does it matter? The goal of certification renewal is to maintain high quality standards. By requiring periodic renewals, we ensure apps continue to meet HubSpot's evolving criteria for performance, security, and user experience. Encourage continuous improvement. The 2-year cycle gives flexibility to adapt to new standards, features, and updates with a focus on app compliance and enhancement. We also want to boost ecosystem compliance. This renewal process helps maintain the integrity of the HubSpot ecosystem, benefiting both developers and end users by promoting consistency and trust. How does it work? You'll be notified 3 months before your app's renewal date so you can make necessary updates and submit for recertification. Later this year, we'll release new tools to streamline the renewal process, providing clear guidance and easier status tracking to reduce any disruption to certified status. Who gets it? Anyone with a certified app on the app marketplace is eligible for recertification. It's important. Coming back to this, um, this idea of consistency, right? And if HubSpot's moving so fast with product updates, and you are not updating your app, like this is why we got to do this, right? And I'm just gonna check. I'm gonna look for an example that I always like to share as it relates to ERPs and the challenge of post sales. Right? If we do ERP here, see what we get. A bunch of syncs. Okay. Um, Let me just get integrate NetSuite. All right. Let me just find some official ones. Right. So there's some by HubSpot as an example, some by not by HubSpot, right? And this is part of the challenge that they're trying to address. No shade on any of the other apps, but like, how do you know which ones are good, which installs are good? I'll say just because it's by HubSpot doesn't mean it's good. All right. There's gaps everywhere. And this is what we're talking about in terms of data model. But this is an example of they've been updating a lot of the post sales apps for like at with the arrival of data sync last year. And so this is an example of even if you're here, you can see, whoa, all these objects, right? We're using products, we're using meetings, we're using orders. HubSpot has orders. Yes, HubSpot has orders. We're using tickets, tasks, doing all the integration, right? So this is an integration that has moved beyond the thinking that HubSpot is just contacts companies and deals, right? Now, if we look for another, say Acumatica, right? Also by HubSpot, also data sync, yet we're only syncing with companies' contacts companies and contacts, right? It looks like we've updated this section to be a little bit easier, but we're not using the rest of HubSpot, right? So, like, chances are I can't use this integration because I need the rest of HubSpot. I need the rest of the data. Stop selling me short, right? So that's an example. These are both certified apps, right? I mean, I guess the other one is it's the CRM to CRM versus CRM to ERP. It's just this is why we need this certification cycle. Got to find consistency and a way to standardize the way that various use cases, which apps are generally designed for, actually get the job done, right? Because the worst thing is taking the time to certify the app, getting it in the marketplace, and then we hear story after story about the integration on the marketplace does not work for me. Somebody installed it. It's a mess now. I need a custom installation. Got to find a happier medium than where we are right now. Next update, define topics the customer agent should always hand off. What is it? Handoff triggers allow admins to define specific topics or scenarios where the customer agent should always transfer a conversation to a human. This ensures that complex or sensitive queries are routed appropriately, reducing customer frustration and maintaining service quality. By configuring these triggers, businesses can strike the right balance between automation and personalized support, ensuring seamless transitions that enhance the overall customer experience. Yeah. Let AI know what you want it to do. It can't figure everything out on your behalf. This is a great example. Take advantage of it. It's the point. Like, still gotta there's some configuration, especially when AI is involved. Don't take it for granted. Just turn it on. Expect it to be a great agent and provide a great experience. Right? This is the minimum level of content required to support your AI. Which questions do you get? How do you answer those questions? Can AI answer them for you? In development, additional app card metadata, description, and preview. We have a forward-looking statement at the top, which, because this is in development, what is it? App builders can now surface descriptors and preview imagery to admins configuring app cards on a record page. Why does it matter? Before adding to a record page, admins often want to understand the value and experience a card will provide. True. New metadata enables developers to communicate this value to customers. Who gets it? All enterprise accounts can build and use private apps. All developer accounts can build public apps that can be installed by any customer account. That is in development. Improved property archive experience. What is it? You can now archive properties used in index page views without needing to remove them from each view. Rejoice. Why does it matter? This update will make maintaining a clean data model easier for admins. With this change, you can archive a property immediately if its only use is in a view. This helps users see only the most valuable properties in your portal. All hubs and additions get it. Take advantage today. Clean up your properties. Copy automated marketing emails and forms from one HubSpot account to another. What is it? Customers can now copy automated marketing emails from an enterprise account to another enterprise account. This feature is beneficial to those customers with multiple HubSpot accounts, clearly, or portals, as we like to call them, making it easier to expand across the enterprise. Love to see it. Lastly, for today, Adobe Acrobat Sign app. With the new Adobe Acrobat Sign app, you can customize, manage, send, and track Adobe Acrobat Sign documents directly from HubSpot contact, deal, and company records. You can also import Adobe Acrobat Sign documents into HubSpot record data for a more complete view of a customer's history. Who gets it? All HubSpot customers can use this app. All right, quick question from Mohammed here. How does the new Breeze AI engine improve task automation compared to the previous system? Hmm, good question. I don't know the answer to that. I will say there's now task activated workflows. So I think ultimately, most of the time, AI is working on your behalf if you can get the right data in the right places in the CRM to activate lists, workflows, triggers all over the place, right? Um, but I'd be interested if anybody else has a a more clear answer to that. That is a good question. A lot of people focus on task automation right now, which is great because we want the visibility of tasks getting done, but we don't want the administration of it. That's our show for today. Remember, you probably already own the solution you're looking for in HubSpot. You just need to wake up to it. Join us tomorrow morning as we explore another core HubSpot object and continue discovering platform value hiding in plain sight. If this was helpful, share it with another HubSpot user who needs this wake up call. Drop your biggest takeaway in the comments and let me know what platform capabilities you want to wake up to next. I'm Chris Carolan, and this has been Wake Up with Customer Platform. Now go build something amazing. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.